So hi everybody, we are back here in Bratislava at the Binarium building. So we spent all the day with Eset. We got a lot of presentation, a lot of really interesting information about IoT, about the next evolution of the Eset product. And so we are here with the Eset CTO, Juraj. Right?
Almost.
Almost. Juraj.
Yes.
Juraj. I'm sorry. So can you present yourself in few words, please?
All right. So my name is Juraj. But it gets different flavors around the world.
Yeah.
And so Juraj Malcho, the full name. I've been with Eset for almost 14 years and went through different roles actually during that time. Initially, I was attracted by the core business of this company because I was a reverse engineer. So I actually joined, to play with malware and, join the teams, that work on detections and so on.
Yeah.
And then over the time, started building first the lab, then I got engaged in with the core development team as well, which is using that information, and tuning our algorithms, and eventually, became the CTO. So I'm now overseeing all of the technology-related aspects of the company.
Okay. So can you tell me a little bit more about your home IT security? What is your best practice? What do you do to protect yourself?
Yeah, well, I keep my kids and wife pretty scared about all IT, right? Yeah. So and my wife is not technical, right? But I keep them quite aware, with kids, they're 9 and 7. Mm-hmm. I'm trying to really raise them with the awareness, these are all the problems. You shouldn't trust people on the internet and so on. Yeah. And you could see similarly with my wife, and I do use antivirus at home. Unlike some of the experts, they will say you don't really need it. You can protect yourself easily. Actually, it's not so easy. I have a good example I can share. It's actually quite back in the days, because it was before my marriage. And before the wedding, my wife was looking for the gown,
wedding
right?
dress. Yeah.
And so it was the age of drive-by exploit chains and the first tools, MPEG and this kind of stuff. And funnily enough, she calls me, I'll say 11 in the morning. I have a problem. I got a pop-up on my screen that I'm infected, but I'm only browsing to this wedding saloon, and it was a legit website. The problem was it was infected. It was basically hacked and infected, and it was detected by our engine. But I started laughing because what happened? I actually added detection for it at 6:30 in the morning. So that's how your home computer can be compromised, even if you're she's not a professional, but it was the same machine, and it had an AV on it. So that's one thing. Obviously, I care to have difficult passwords. Mm-hmm. That means I never remember them. I need to keep them stored somewhere. I try to keep my things up to date, on router and these sort of things. I tend not to go for the cheapest device, which is sometimes always is a money problem. That's kind of it. And obviously, reasonable or responsible behavior on the net. I'm a paranoid, I don't trust people, so it's easy for me to say.
So hopefully you are paranoid because you are inside the cybersecurity, right?
Yeah.
So what is doing Eset to control the increasingly complicated malware in the market? What is your, in a high-level point of view, what is your strategy for that?
Right, so there are a couple of approaches or, different ways we are trying to tackle this. One of them is obviously the technology perspective. So the way we are building our products it's built in layers. Mm-hmm. We're trying to be present at every moment where you can strike, because obviously as malware is getting onto your machine and is doing something, there are different points in time, before it infects, while it's trying to infect, and then trying to exfiltrate information or do something bad. Yeah. You can do something about it, and it's exactly how we were creating or adding new layers of technology and maintaining it. The other thing that you can do is, we are hiding a bit, from the attackers. We are not always, going with full attack or full defense against specific attacks, because sometimes the bad guys are not realizing, how easy it is to spot. But, if they are really persistent, very actively evading your detection, this cat and mouse game is getting basically economically problematic, right?
Okay.
So you can have, so one of the things that works is today, there's different ways. Well, one example is hiding in the cloud, meaning that we wouldn't put some of our technology into the endpoint products, even if we knew it would work. But we rather keep it in the cloud, and yes, there might be a delay of, let's say, 20 minutes in some cases before we react, but the bad guys are not able to test. The experience, us being like really well-known product, and we're like number 4 security in the business in the world, you get exposed, and then that means you have couple or like a number of attackers going after you, so they are gonna reverse and play with it. And if you hide your detection or technology in the cloud, it's like quantum physics. The moment you test, you change the universe, and that's what we like, because we would see, someone is trying to play with it. And that would be a third approach. Again, I could mention, and it's more about enterprise security, enterprise-grade products, where this hiding, it needs to be also done, or kind of tactical, playing on the side of the defender, the business, let's say, that's using the products. So the product is merely a tool that you're using, but then you need to understand there's someone actively thinking and intelligent, and how he could trick you. And so basically we are building the tools in a way that they're enabling you to customize your defense. So you can pull some stuff, some intelligence from our cloud. You can send some files for analysis. We have limited access to our EDR, endpoint detection and response solution, which is basically giving you an overview of what's happening in your whole network. And again, the goal is to give you a comprehensive way how you can prioritize and look at things that really matter, so you're not wasting time with false alerts and these kind of things.
Okay. Can you give me, and maybe it overlaps a little bit your answer already, but can you give me in a high level again your 3 major bullets for cybersecurity in 2018?
Okay, so cyber trends, that's always interesting, because usually you don't have much like kind of breaking news to share. But so I think the problem of ransomware, which is so visible for everyone, only because it's always in the face of the victim, and they don't really care they are infected by a bot and they are a part of a DDoS attacks and sending spam. This thing is not gonna go away, that's for sure. Because the model is proven enough to work, so the bad guys are sticking to it.
And it's more and more nasty the way that they are giving that.
Right, and even if people learn their lessons in some way, they started backing up things a little bit and so on. You definitely see progress on the bad side, that they're starting to attack cloud-based, cloud storages, backup systems, turning it off, infecting directly in the cloud. So there's no magic bullet, telling to people, yes, just back up or go to cloud or something. So we need to continue in this fight. So that's one thing that, if someone was hoping that it's going to stop, it's probably not. Then I definitely need to mention supply chain attack. This we actually discovered a couple of examples earlier this year, which is the stuff that our researchers shared. I think this is generally going to be a trend for the years coming. The reason why is you can say that generally the world is learning on the mistakes, and the systems are designed better, less mistakes are being done. There's internal vulnerability programs and so on. Security products are getting better, even systems. And basically, exactly, the attackers are gonna find a weak spot, which is not expected, in that chain. And you need to trust things, in this world. And basically, that's what we'll be seeing as the major problem. How systems, infrastructures will get compromised. So that's something to think about. Again, never trust anyone, but then you need to have systems functioning. And what would be the third one? I think it would be maybe not from the point of view of attacks, but rather what to do about it. And it's customize your defense, learn about your attackers, because it's actually the answer to this. spot the attacker while he's in the reconnaissance phase. They're going to reveal something, or you would be surprised how many times we saw a client that he would be getting attacks from specific email address or specific IP address, and they wouldn't do anything about it. And so you have an attack, you stop it. 6 months later, there's another attack coming from the same place, maybe using a 0-day. So okay, it's more advanced, but you should never ever allow that thing again. So I would say, do more. Learn what's happening on your network and act on it. You have intelligent opponent. That's basically.
Okay, so I have the feeling that there is a real war behind with the bad guy versus the white guy.
And there's been evil always out there. The problem is that nowadays everyone's connected to everyone. So the burglars are not able to rob in one neighborhood and maybe then move further. But they have like 6. Well, I don't know how many people are really connected. Okay, say 3 billion people that you can easily go after. I mean, that's quite a surface. And the problem is that it's still the price to enter cybercrime is not. I mean, it's getting lower and lower, and it's really hard to get those guys. There are some success stories, but still it's not enough. They feel they are not vulnerable.
Right. Okay, so for my last question, I will ask you a tricky one. What is in your point of view, the most valuable information that you share with us today?
So I would say it's kind of twofold. One thing, and we're not super known everywhere, even though like looking at market share and having all the history and and customers experience. It's sharing info about our company, who we are, what is our philosophy, why we do it this way, why we don't do it that way, and basically, why we keep to our honest approach to business. Because earning trust is the difficult thing. You can burn it like that, and that's not what you want to do. So that's one aspect. Like, yes, we are the good guys. We started as a service to help people in need. We want to be the same thing. We are here forever. We like to be here forever. We share the information about the new campus we want to build. So definitely planning long ahead. And the other is really showing the strength of our research. Which is something we're really focusing on, because that's the only way you can build a company like we are, which is not only about presenting interesting things to journalists or even our customers and in order to educate them, but you need to realize that all of the things that the guys find out is something we put back into technology. In fact, that was how it was in the beginning. We researched the threat landscape in order to understand how to best address the malware, and then we realized, this is something we could actually share with everyone, so they learn. So that would be it.
So that's nice for the community, for sure.
Yeah, that's what we try to do.
So thanks very much, Juraj, and I hope to be able to ask you a few other questions next time.
Of course.
Thank you.
Glad to see you again.
Glad to see you too.